Good evening and welcome to the UkSimracers Toyota GR86 Winter Series Round 4 live from Donington, sponsored by Results Clothing. I am James Parfitt. I'm joined in the booth by Daan Pepels as always, and we are here at the classic Donington circuit, track length 3.16 kilometres outside the city of Castle Donington this evening, and it plays host to the UkSimracers GR86. And what an absolutely epic evening we've got planned for you. Don't forget, guys, we've got 4 15-minute heats of racing as well this evening, ready to go here live on the JPB YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bells for notifications, give the video a big old thumbs up as well, because that would be absolutely amazing. We hit 360 subscribers today. That is absolutely incredible. So I think it's time now to bring the one and the only Mr. Daan Pepels into the booth. Daan, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, James. Good evening, everyone. And well, first of all, from my side, I'll hope you've had a happy new year, and I hope 2023 started good for you. But yeah, for me, it definitely did. Of course, yesterday I had a broadcast already, and today, once again, we're back with the UkSimracers, and it's a new year, but nothing has changed here.
No, the racing's still going to be epic as it always is. We've got about 5 minutes left of practice here this evening as well. And, well, what was the story from last week, Dan?
Well, last week, of course, we were at the circuit, at Coda we were,
yes.
The circuit of the Americas. We were, in quali, we saw Pete Van Gool take pole position out of Carl Hardy in P2 and Pete Newman in P3. Race 1, though, was a different story. Pete Newman won that race out of Jamie Ayres, and Pete Van Gool, the pole sitter, in P3. Race 2, Jamie Ayres won ahead of Pete Newman and Roger Morton in P3. James Neve, of course, the AM driver who isn't an AM anymore this week, won race 3, and Jamie Ayres in P2. Anthony Jacobson, of course, in P3 there. Jamie Ayres won race 4, Pete Newman in P2, and Miles Owens in P3.
Okay, so you said James Neve has moved classes, Dan.
Yes, James Neve has switched classes. He's not the only one who has done so, James. I think, if I'm correct here, that Miles Owens has changed class as well. So there are a couple of movers here, but yeah, I don't think for these guys that, well, it's going to be a big issue because they were quick. They proved to be quick, and they won races. Miles Owens hasn't done overall, if I'm correct yet. But James Neve has won, I think, 3 races overall now. So he has proven that he can be up there at the top with the pro drivers. So I don't think for him it's going to be too big of a change.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be an exciting one here this evening, and I cannot wait for this, as we always can here on a Tuesday night, guys. But right now, so here, quick word from our sponsors, UkSimracers. Okay, guys, that was a quick word from our sponsors, Results Clothing. Results Wear Guard, dependable, coordinated outwear that provides durability to those who rely heavily on their clothing at work. Work smart, foster workforce unity, and sharpen customer confidence by using Work Guard clothing. Work clever, rely on Work Guard garment design, technical fabrics to keep your workforce comfortable throughout their working day. Available in a wide range of sizes and colours, textures and finishes. Work Guard by Result will enhance the image, credibility and price of any professional tradesman from head to toe. Find them at shop.resultsclothing.com. So welcome in to chat Phil across the pond as always. Miles Owens, welcome in. Happy New Year to you all. Happy New Year to you. Pete Van Gool, Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. There we go. And is Elise back this week? No. No, Phil, not back this week. I believe it's 2 weeks. So we'll be back next week. And is your internet working? Well, Phil, I hope so. Otherwise, magic fairy dust is producing the broadcast right about now. So there you go. And my guinea pigs are running around producing electricity for me, making this broadcast work officially as it should do there, Dan. 15 seconds left of practice before we go in to qualifying. What are we expecting, Dan? Donington, short track. It's going to be tough in this car.
Well, it is going to be tough. We do not have the tricky chicane. That has been changed for turn 9 and 10, the last turns on this track. It's still a chicane, but it's not as tricky as the one that we have on the full version of the track. So there's a little bit more room for error there. There are a little bit more lines possible through there. Still, though, James, I think that it's not quite possible to run through there side by side.
No. And if you do, you're brave. Very, very brave. As you can see there, it's going to be Dan Hunt leading the way. He's going to be the first man out on track this evening, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. You know, the problem is with Donington, right? It is the short track version. Not everybody likes this circuit. You know, they're rushing down now, coming down into the old hairpin at the base of the hill currently, and it's one of them circuits that provides great racing, great action, but also can provide great danger to the drivers as well. And I think they've all got to be sort of a little bit more careful here this evening. You know, very short, very quick track, and in a tough car. I still think there's some people still trying to get used to the car itself. You know, they've been out, they've done some practice, they've had some racing on Fridays, and, you know, still doing their normal thing. But I think it's still a tough car for some people to get hold of.
Well, James, I have spoken to a professional racing driver yesterday, and he said, and it was actually advice that was very simple, but it did quite a lot in terms of lap time for me. He said you just have to do everything way slower in this car. Mm-hmm. The only thing you can do quicker is get back on the gas pedal and start driving out of the corner. For the rest, everything is so slow in this car. So it was a very simple piece of advice, but something that I use a lot now. I just keep saying to myself in my mind, like, do it slowly, take your time, and if you do so, it all of a sudden goes from a tricky car to quite an enjoyable car to drive. Still not easier, but more enjoyable.
Yeah, I think that's what it's proving to be, as we spoke about it last week and touched on, and the fact that, you know, it's got a bucket load of grip on the front end. It can oversteer like an absolute trooper if you're not careful, and you know, I think that's one of the precarious situations of this car. For some reason, it will drive great for a lap or two, and then next thing you know, it'll want to kill you and oversteer like an absolute trooper. And I think I'm still in. I wouldn't say I'm in love with the car, but I do like the way the car is set up and the way it's being handled. And as we can see, one of the results guys behind there spinning. Pete Newman is currently purple in sectors 2 and 3. Goes across the line on a 1:17.870. Jamie Ayres second on a 1:18.070. So it's going to be interesting to see how them guys materialise. We've got Michael Searle here this evening. He is in the arms He's very quick as well, been setting good times in practice, and currently 1:17.890 here this evening, so he's going to be one to watch as well. I think there's probably going to be another promotion and demotion, sort of another promotional stage if Michael Searle carries on this pace. I don't think he's going to be around for very long in this car, so we'll have to see how that one all pans out as well from Michael Searle, but he's doing a stellar job currently at the moment. 1:17s down to 1:19s in 12th place. We've got about a 2-second gap currently at the moment. It's probably more about around about 1.6, 1.7. But I think overall this track's going to lend itself to some great racing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys can do. Oh, Arnaud Chagnonier has it coming together. I believe that was with James Neve. It was with James Neve, so James there now in the pro class from JM Racing there, unfortunately, has a coming together with Arnaud Chagnonier. Charles Kellerman has put his car up into 5th place currently at the moment as well, running around best at lap time 1:18.18. He's got a job to do as we've got 10 minutes remaining of qualifying. Dan, pick me a race driver. Who do you think is going to win?
Oh, well, difficult to say here this early on in qualifying, James. If you don't mind, I'm going to wait just 5 minutes longer in this qualifying session just to see who's really up there. If I would have to say it now, I would go with the man, of course, at the top, and the man where I come from, the country as well, the Netherlands, Piet van Gool. He's been quick in this car, and he's been, well, he's doing what he did 2 seasons ago in the MX-5, and, well, he's in there in the championship. He's doing well, and I have him down, if I have to guess now, as my race winner for race 1.
He's gone across the line on a 1:17.626 here this evening. So Piet van Gool is definitely getting to grips with this short track at Donington and this car itself. It's going to be interesting to see. We've got 21 cars, maybe 20 cars on in the race this evening. Carl Hardy sitting down in 8th place currently at the moment. He's coming down into the last chicane. The right, then the left-hander. Let's see what Carl Hardy can do as he goes across the line currently as well. It's good to see. We've also got Steve Hefford back in the rig as well. So Steve must be feeling better from his operation earlier on. Michael Searle goes, he's gone quicker over sector 2, still on a 1:17.89. Hardy up into 4th on a 1:17.909. So yeah, from his point of view, he's also looking good as well. Up one here this evening. What do we think though, Dan? You know, other drivers got to survive for the first lap here because the circuit's tough. You know, Donington's renowned for being tough, especially on that run down through Hollywood, Craney Coats down into the old hairpin, and then you've got the run from Coppice down to the chicane, sorry. So again, they've got the opportunity to make passes, but they've got to be brave and they've got to be cooperative, haven't they?
Well, I think the best overtaking opportunity we will see on this track here, James, is down into Redgate, turn 1, and because if I look at any other corners, maybe the old hairpin, if you get a good run out of Redgate and down the Craney curves to put it up the inside, or if you're brave, go around the outside of the old hairpin. But yeah, really turn 1 is the only clear-cut overtaking opportunity I see. Of course, these drivers always, well, make opportunities where there not really are any opportunities. They create them for themselves at places where you think, well, how have they done that? So it's never impossible for these guys to overtake, but it won't be an easy task here on this track. It's a quick track, so well, slipstream will be into play as well here this evening. So I think it's also important that you keep that slipstream, and maybe you don't want to be the first car of the queue.
Maybe. I think I would still prefer to be out in front. I've got to be honest. I think I would prefer to be out in front here tonight. Partly because to get that run down into Redgate, down into the old hairpin, you know, out in front makes it a lot more straightforward and easier for you, rather than being in a big old bunch of cars that you're not entirely sure where they're going to be. You know, I think that's going to be one of the things they've got to be looking out for.
Yeah, that's a good point you make there. Of course, the clean air ahead of you is important. Of course, being able to look where you're going is also an important one, because if you are really close to the guy ahead of you, we all know a lot of your vision is blocked. You kind of have to look around the car ahead of you, and it's something that we haven't pointed on, I think, ever when we've been in the commentary booth. But if you're considerably quicker than the car ahead, it's difficult if you can't really pass in any of these quick corners to find your way around. Of course, these drivers know how wide their car is and know where to place their car, but it certainly makes life a little bit more difficult if you're behind someone.
Yeah, it definitely does. You never really know quite where people are going to be, and I think that's one of the things that is going to be interesting here tonight as well. You know, when they battle as closely as we know these guys do, and they do battle a hell of a close, you know, closer than pretty much anything I've seen generally with cars, you know, how close they actually get to each other. Oh, Dale Benison there. That's not going to do your car any good there, young sir. So I think that's going to be Dale Benison resetting back as well. You know, we've broken what seems to be the best times of this car. Nobody's really making massive improvements in the last 5 minutes. And, you know, as you can see currently at the moment, Newman's out in front here, Dan. And is Newman looking a shoe-in for race 1 victory? We never count him out. And I don't think we should count him out again here tonight.
Yeah, well, I think Phil in chat has pointed out, something interesting. From experiencing, from marshalling on this track, I guess, he thinks that Redgate Turn 1 will be a pile-up point. Let's hope that's not going to be the case. There is runoff on the left-hand side, of course, into the gravel. But apart from that, it's just wall, and I love this track. As you can see, it's old school. There's no runoff. If you go just a little bit too wide, you're off onto the grass or into the gravel, and there's just not so much room for error as you find on most newer tracks. Yeah,
I think that's one of the things. The problem is, though, is like we are well aware that grass in iRacing is nothing more than ice. And as soon as you hit it, you know, you're generally running off into a different dimension compared to everybody else. You know, the short barriers to the left there of Craig Deakin is that's Craig Jones got round as well. And then, as you say, the gravel at the end of turn 1. But again, there's no real runoff there either. It's kind of, you've got it, you're on the grass, you're likely to be hitting the wall.
Exactly. Well, there is runoff, like I said, but the runoff is grass or gravel. And to be honest, you, as a racer, never want to be in one of those two, really.
No. Definitely not. Craig Deakin going around there as well. Pete Van Gool out on track. Still with Pete Newman in pole position on a 1:17.389. Steve Hepburn managed to put it in second, though, so that's absolutely incredible for Steve here tonight. Steve's back racing after having an operation and has come back and joined us tonight as well, so fair play to Steve. I'm glad he's feeling better. PVG is green in sector 1, so we'll keep an eye on how he gets on for the rest of the lap. James J04, yes, Craig, go on, my son. Which one are we supporting, Craig? Craig Deakin or Craig Jones? You let me know, because there's two.
Well,
so, you know.
One thing I do know, he has a great name.
James.
Yes, exactly. Is that not the case, James?
It is. It is the case. Every best person's called James. We all know this. Just people don't like admitting it.
It's
PVG,
fact.
It's fact, yeah. PVG going yellow in sector 2. How's he going to get on across the line? What sort of lap time is he going to register? He's not. It's gone into second place on a 1:17.477. I think he was expecting a lot more from that lap than he kind of got out of it, really, which is a bit of a shame. As well. Daniel Hunt going up into fourth on a 1:17.579. PVG has gone again, so has Steve Hefford. Steve's here tonight as well. He's gone up into third on the grid. Jamie Ayres is off cutting the grass here at Donington for the Momo team. So Jamie there getting his lawnmower out. Is he going to carry it? No, he makes it on and then turns the car back onto the grass.
Well, I don't know what really Jamie is doing, but he seems to want to drive on the grass instead of the tarmac. He's preferring the green bit of the track instead of the black. Well,
I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he's just decided to see how quicker he goes on the grass. I'm not sure. No, on the grass.
Doesn't seem like it.
No, but I suppose on the upside, he has got complete control. Well, he did have complete control of the car at that specific moment. But there we go. There we go. Jamie Ayres there doing a little bit of grass cutting for the groundsman at Donington here tonight. James Neave is going to head across the line as well. PVG is off track currently at the moment. So James Neave there promoted to pros. No.
There he goes. Around he goes. It's a red gate. I think caught too much of the inside curb there, James.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit responsible for that because everybody else we've looked at so far has either gone round or ended up on the grass. I'm hoping Carl Hardy doesn't do the same thing, otherwise I'm free for free, and I don't really like that this early on as we go into the last 20 seconds of qualifying. Not good, but there we go. He is rallying, says Phil. Maybe Jamie Ayres is rallying. He's doing a stellar job at it as well, so there we go. But I just want to get the racing underway here. You know, your anticipation of a race that you know is going to go well. And I think that's one of the things here tonight. But the grid is up here tonight. Dan, Pete Newman is in first. Pete Van Gool in second. Steve Hefford first. Third, Daniel Hunt fourth. Carl Hardy fifth. Jamie Ayres in sixth. Miles Owen seventh. James Neave in eighth. Michael Searle, first of the AMs in ninth. Roger Morton in 10th. Arnold Chagnon in 11th. Charles Kellerman is in 12th place. Beyond that, we have got Anthony Jacobson in 13th, Craig Jones 14th, Darrell Wright 15th, Colin Sampson 16th, Craig Deakin 17th, Dale Bennison 18th, David Ayres 19th, Andy Littler 20th, Jason Haddington 21st, and Mick Barry in 23rd place.
Very well done there, James.
Thanks. I was keeping an eye, you see, on when they were on track, so I wasn't rushing as normal. You know, just keeping an eye on who was getting on and off. And at the moment, Pete Newman is not on, and neither is Charles Kellerman. So we'll have to see. I'm sure they won't miss the start. Pete is now on. There we go. There is Pete Newman. And we're just waiting for Charles Kellerman. The line of pros there. And then the AMs behind them. But the lights are coming on. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it is Pete Newman leading us away this early on. We've got Pete Van Gool to the left-hand side of him. Behind that, Daniel Hunt, Steve Hefford are in banks of two as well as they're going down into turn one, down into Redgate. Everybody is looking like they make it through at the moment. Further back, Craig Jones is in the mix with Anthony Jacobson. Oh, Craig Deakin is going down the order. Where is he? Oh, he's facing the wrong way right at the beginning there. Craig Deakin is off, but at the moment, Dan, Pete Newman leading the way. Up and running, so far so good.
Well, everyone got away cleanly there. Of course, apart from Craig Deakin, who spun, of course, into Redgate. But it seems like a quite a timid start here. It is Pete Newman with a 2.5-tenth lead over Pete Van Gool. The gap behind that, though, look how big that already is there, James. Already 1.5 seconds for Pete Van Gool to Daniel Hunt. And, of course, Daniel Hunt under pressure from Steve Hefford, so that gap I don't think is going to be closing too quickly here.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's going to be coming down. The movers and shakers are on the left-hand side there, guys. After the first 3/4 of this lap into lap one, Steve Hefford with Jamie Ayres right behind him as well. Carl Hardy's just lost positions there as well. He's lost positions to Darrell Wright and Colin Sampson. Oh, no! The safeguard boys, Carl Hardy, Darrell Wright. coming together there. First rule of racing, never take out your teammate, and them guys have just done that. Pete Newman now being chased down by PVG behind him, and Jason Haddington is in the pits as well. So Mr. Haddington in the pits there, so that's going to be an interesting one for him. I can't see any reason why he would be, unless he's forgot to put fuel in for the race, which I have done previously.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier on in this broadcast, you can not go side by side through that chicane. That's Pete Van Gogh. Big snap though. He keeps it going in the right direction. That has lost him a lot of time. Behind that though, Daniel Hunt off the track as well. I think it was too focused on Pete Van Gogh into that corner, but look at the speed that Daniel Hunt now has over Pete Van Gogh. He wants that position. He knows this might be one of his only chances to get past Pete Van Gogh, because Pete Van Gogh was looking mighty quick, was pressurizing Pete Newman, but there was a little bit too hot, of course, into that corner, and well, he paid the price for that.
Yeah, he definitely did do there, but PVG seems to have got the pace back up. He's pulled out 6/10 of a gap already. Michael Searle and Arnaud Chagnon are Will battling it out for the AMS League. Michael Searle currently sitting behind James Neave. Further back from that, Miles Owens is pro class promotion this week. He's battling away with Charles Kellerman, and obviously in front of that is Chagnon. Owens looking at trying to run the outside line down into the old hairpin. Is he going to be able to get him at the base of the hill? You can see there Benison is into the pits. Miles Owens drives around the outside of Charles Kellerman. Absolutely stellar job from Miles Owens there, and he manages to take that position away. That was for 9th place, as he's doing the same from Chagnon. Owens is looking quick here tonight, Dan. I believe you had a chat with him before we started.
Well, I did. Owen said that it was not his favorite track again, and that it was finding the track actually more difficult than all the other ones that he's driven on yet here in the UK SimRacers. So it is showing a little bit. I think before when he was in the AM class, he was always there at the top of the AM class. Now the gap is already 2 seconds to the leader in the AM class. And well, for Miles Owens, it's a case of, I think, trying to survive and picking up the positions that he can pick up. Andy Little's going to try and go back up the inside of Mick Barry. Beautiful move by Mick Barry. Mick Barry does go, I think, a little bit deep. Or is that Kellyman who's lost time?
Yeah, Kellyman's lost time. I think this is coming down into the chicane. That is Anthony Jacobson behind him. Oh, Jacobson dives from a long way. Really long way on Kellerman there, and we're back up and running. Jason Haddington is unfortunately dropped all the way down into 21st place currently at the moment. Miles Owens, Arnaud Chagnon going for it as well. Roger Moore's decided he wants a piece of this battle as these guys battling round. Swartz curved up into McLean's, and well, kind of Owens just got a toast of his own medicine there, because Morton just drove right round the outside of him.
Yeah, well, he did exactly to Miles Owens for the... Well, James Neave, by the way, is dropping down the order, and that's why he seems to have gone off at well, turn 5, turn 6, somewhere there.
Yeah, it was.
Or the old hairpin.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the hill.
Morton here going up beside Chagnon. They can't take this too wide. If they do, it's got to be respectful. Chagnon cannot run in. Oh, he's going, he's on track. He saved it, but this group of 5 cars here this evening, you can see Morton, Jacobson, Jones is in this little pocket of battles up front here as well. Jacobson is in there at the same time, and so is Colin Sansom. So that's going to be an interesting one. How is this going to work out? Because one mistake from these guys, and it's all over for this pack.
Well, for Miles Owens, I think it's really tricky now which car is going to choose to follow through. Miles Owens has the inside, but I think Jones has got past him. Jones has got past Miles Owens round the outside on the old hairpin, and that was a beautiful move by Craig Jones. For a man that's not comfortable with this car yet, well, he's giving it some this evening.
Yeah, well, that's what he says every week, doesn't he? He says he's getting better and better as the weeks go on, which is understandable. You know, he's an MX-5 boy through and through, is Craig Jones. So to see him coming into a different car, to see him putting himself back in that position where he's got to learn a new car, then he's going for it. Roger Morton's had a slowdown, I can tell you that much, because that is so easily done on the Coppice corner, and he's now trying to run that off, currently at the moment trying to stay in front of Colin Sampson, which he does manage to do just. Craig Jones, though, however, has got Miles Owens tucked up right behind him currently at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see. Owens is going to try and drive round the outside. Can he make this one stick? As these guys come down into Redgate, he's not going to get it done this time. Is he going to be looking to try and cut him back down through the Essex section down into Hollywood and Old Hairpin? And they're side by side again here, Dan.
Well, who's going to get this one this time round? Craig Jones seems to have pushed out Miles Owens. A big snap, though, from Miles Owens on the braking into the Old Hairpin. Craig Jones once again carries his speed around the outside there of Miles Owens to get in front again. Craig Jones seems to be loving that Old Hairpin.
He does currently at the moment. He's getting the job done. He's up into 8th place. He's up 6 places on his grid slot, is Craig Jones. So fair play. Next up in for him would be Anthony Jacobson. But these cars are still not giving up, including Carl Hardy and Arnaud Chagnon. Obviously, Chagnon had that, well, he put the power down too early going out of the chicane there, Dan, did he really? But now he's under attack from Hardy. We've seen this one already with Chagnon and Morton, and it didn't quite work out for him at that time. Sensible decision, backs off this time and allows Hardy through.
Yeah, builds out of that move. He, of course, got a taste of what it's like to run through there side by side. They almost made it that time round, but he's chosen this time round not to do this again. Roger Morton around the outside of Miles Owens. Miles Owens has the inside to Redgate and keeps that position, keeps 9th position. He has been losing and gaining positions, but somehow Miles Owens has just been able to stay in P9. However, though, Roger Morton wants to carry the speed through into turn 4 now. There's a touch between Miles Owens, keeps it going in a straight line. And I thought, James, that the moment Miles Owens got turned round, that there was no catching it. And once you get a big snap for Miles Owens, Craig Jones, does he have a slowdown? Because he seems to be going slow out of the Old Hairpin. Roger Morton, though, what a move from him to, well, carry that speed around the outside once again and cut back to the inside of Miles Owens.
Yeah, I think Craig Jones did definitely have a slowdown there because he managed to basically get it off, but he's had to kind of hit the brakes in the process. Miles Owens is back in the fight with Chagnon again as these guys coming around Coppice down in through the Starkey straight down into the chicane at the bottom of the hill. Don't forget, we are going to go right and left. We are not including the hairpin here tonight. Oh, they make it through again. These guys are swapping positions. Owens got a lot better run on Jones. Coming out of that chicane down into turn 1. Miles Owens on the right, Craig Jones on the left. You can see that from the fact that Jones has got his name on the front of the car. Kind of a giveaway, who is who. As they're coming down into Redgate, Owens trying to hang it around that outside line. Through Redgate they go. By where's Jones going? The problem is he going to get it stopped on that grass? He's making pace. Whoa. Code Brown for Craig Jones. Manages to get the car back onto the tarmac and stopped. But at the moment, Roger Morton chasing down Colin Sansom, chasing down Roger Morton here. This battle is in the mid-pack. Constantly still up front. We've got Newman, Van Gogh, Hunt, Hepburn, Ayres, and then Searle. Michael Searle is chasing down Jamie Ayres currently at the moment. He is the leader of the AMS. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can manage to hold it. But that little pockets of battles here, Morton and Sampson have just swapped positions as well, Dan. This kind of seems to be where the action is in the middle of the field.
Yeah, well, at the front, the gaps are quite spaced out. Of course, you can see the lead for Pete Newman. 1.2 seconds, that gap has come down. And this time round, though, Pete Newman a little bit quicker than Pete Van Gool. Danny Hondo just a little bit slower than Pete Van Gool as well. But Steve Hefford, don't know what happened to him this time round, but seems to be really off the pace of the top 3. 4 seconds, that gap is already. But like you said, this is where, well, the real fight is in this race.
Yeah, David Ayres has joined the fun as well. Miles Owens, Arnaud Chagnon, David Ayres. These 3 guys battling it away with Roger Morton and Carl Hardy from the Safeguard team. Yep, Sansom has been grass cutting. Unfortunately for him, he's dropped back into the clutches of Craig Jones, Jamie Ayres, has got Michael Searle. That's where my teeth was going to work, as these guys are coming up through Coppice as well. Looks like that's Daniel Hunt. He's off on the grass. Manages to third place there, but Steve Hefford is behind him with Jamie Ayres and Michael Searle. Searle now looking at this run down Starkey straight down into the chicane as they come along. Is he going to make it this time around? He's not. Sensible move really from Searle there, Dan. You know, he can get a lot better run out of this chicane now, going down into Redgate.
Well, he's going to definitely try. He's definitely going to have a look to the outside of Jamie Ayres. Not to the inside, though, decides to stick behind. Maybe the run from Redgate all the way down into the old hairpin. Maybe that's where he can pick up the slipstream and maybe try something around the outside or down the inside of Jamie Ayres. But it seems like at the moment, he's just a little bit too far back.
Yeah, not for long. I don't think it's going to be for long. We've got 2:39 on the clock. They've got about another 2 laps here before it all kicks off and comes down to the final lap, and we'll see whether or not Michael Searle's going to look at making that move. This midfield battle, Hardy, Owen, Chandonnier are still together. Oh, that's Hardy on the grass. He's lost a position to David Ayres, Chandonnier, Miles Owens. Morton is looking a little bit further up the field. He's about nearly a second away from this battle at the moment, so it's possible he might be looking that he's thinking he's safe, which could well be. But one man is not safe, is Jamie Ayres here with Michael Searle, Dan.
No, he's not. Also back at the front of the field, the gap has come down to 6/10 of a second. 3/10 quicker this time round. Pete van Gool, Dan, Pete Newman, and we do still have 2 laps left now. So that could be a fight brewing there for the first position in this race. This race has been going on now for 13 minutes already, and well, this fight hasn't eased off one bit, and this is Jamie Ayres. Of course, Michael fighting it out for 5th position. It does seem like the gap has opened up just that slight bit, and it doesn't seem like he's going to be going for a move anytime soon.
No, but his gap has decreased now to half a second. Pete van Gool and Pete Newman. 1:15 on the clock. They are going to have this one and one more. That's Dale Bennison, I believe, in front of us currently at the moment. It is. So from that point of view, how they're going to handle that, Bennison just moves over. Just moves over there. Pete van Gool trying to hold the draft for as long as he possibly can. But his gap's now back out to 8th temps. And this is going to be Pete Newman taking this final lap. There is Barney waving frantically. So Pete Newman now takes the final lap of the race with PVG tucked up right behind him as well. Steve Hefford and Daniel Hunt are almost close together here this evening. This is going to be a battle on the last lap here as well. Daniel Hunt hugging that inside line, forcing Hefford to go round the outside. And is Steve going to be able to run it all the way round the outside here through Redgate? He's onto the gravel. He's still pushing that GR86 all the way round. They're going to be side by side, running down through Hollywood, down into Starkey's and the old hairpin at the bottom. And it's Hefford and Hunt. Hefford gets, I'm going to say he gets jumped on, but he's not going to get it done down this time. Dan Hunt still manages to hold that position.
Not quite this time round. Pete van Gool has now closed up to, well, nearly 3/10 of a second. And, well, they're going through Coppice now. The run down to that last chicane, I don't think he's going to get it. He's just a little bit too far back to, well, get enough slipstream to try something into the chicane. He's giving it a good shot, though. Pete van Gool was quicker overall than Pete Newman. But Pete Newman, in the early stage of the race, got a bit of a gap.
Yeah, he definitely did, and I think that's what actually helped him out there as well. Here's Dan Hunt going to hold on to 3rd place. It's looking like he is. It's Dan Hunt here in 3rd. It looks like Michael Searle. Jamie Ayres gets Steve Hefford at the line. Looks like Michael Searle's going to take the AM victory, with Anthony Jacobson coming across the line in 2nd place here tonight. And then, of course, we've got Roger Morton behind that in 3rd. So, in hindsight, Dan, of what we've seen previously, quite a tame race one. Oh, as I say that, and that's Craig Deacon going into the wall. Unfortunately there for Craig.
I think he kept it out of the wall, James. I don't think there was a little kiss to the wall. I think he just kept it out of the wall.
Well, that's Craig Deacon coming across the line in 16th place here. Mick Barry behind that in 17th. Andy Littler, of course, him being involved in an incident there as well. And Craig Jones.
Well, like you said, James, quite a tame race here compared to the other race ones. But, well, I think we're going to sound like a broken record here, James, because, like always, I'm going to say, wait until you see race 4, because race 4 is usually where it all kicks off.
Yeah, the results are on your screen there, Dan. Have a read of them for us.
Well, then, Pete Newman is the one who wins Heat 1 and wins race 1. Pete Van Gool finishes in second behind Pete Newman, ahead of Daniel Hondo in P3. He's personally ahead of JBS in P4, Steve Hefford in P5. And how about that? Michael Seal, how about that for a debut in a series and in the AM class? Immediately takes the victory. Anthony Jacobson in P7, ahead of Roger Morton, Arnaud Channonier in P9, Carl Hardy in P10, David Ayres in P11, P12 for Miles Owens, P13 for Colin Sansom, Charles Kellyman in P14, P15 for Darrow Wright, 16th is Greg Deacon, Mick Barry in P17, Andy Littler in P18. P19 for Greg Jones, Dale Bennison in P20, James Neve in P21, and Jason Haddington in P22.
There we go. Well done, Dan. Good read. As we're going now into race 2, 3:39 on the clock. We've had a brief little warm-up. Back-to-back quali laps, but yeah, stupid place to put grass right next to a racetrack. Well, Mr. Jones, unfortunately, that is part and parcel of what you are racing on here this evening. So, yeah, no need to get a little bit salty about the grass. I don't know, some people are just not happy.
Kept.
Yeah.
Well, so it looks great. The ground's been doing a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. So stop getting all salty, Mr. Jones. There we go. You got a warm-up. Go out and get some warm-up laps in. So don't forget, guys, as well, it's a perfect opportunity to talk about what we've got coming up on JPB this week. We are here for the UK SimRacers on Tuesday evening. Then on Thursday, we've got the Radical Race Series. That's going to be another exciting set of racing there as well. We've got a sprint and feature race coming up this week, and this is live from the Hockenheim Ring. And then we've got the Radical Sim Racing US division of their World Cup kicks off this week as well. Then we've got the Radical Sim Racing AM and Pros on Friday, followed by the SRL TCR media event on that night at 10:15. So we've got back-to-back, and then just for good health, we're going into a TCR league, and that is from Rudskogen. Sounds about right. And then, of course, on the Saturday, there might be a surprise on Saturday. We're still working on things for that one, so there's possibly could be a surprise coming on Saturday evening. Then we're back with a Radical Sim Racing endurance event on Sunday, and then we kick off for the LSRL GT3 round 1 on early Monday morning at 1 o'clock. So we've got a top 10 reverse here for race 2. Quite a busy week coming up, Dan, on the JPB YouTube channel this week. Dan, you dead? Dan.
I'm not dead. I'm not dead.
You just
I was
realized
just
that you're muted, or?
Yes. I was talking to a muted mic. We take that one off your bingo card. We've had that one this season. Well, what I was saying to the muted mic. Well, oh no, now I can't even remember what we were talking about.
We've been running through the calendar.
It is all vanished.
Never mind.
Oh yeah. Well, it's never bad to have a lot of racing here. Me personally, as a racing fan, I enjoy all kinds of racing. I was up at 6 in the morning today for me. For you, that was 5, Mr. James.
And I was
You were doing
awake.
the commentary, and I was doing the watching because I enjoyed some ACC racing. So yeah, it's always fun to have a lot of racing on the week. At least you're not gonna have nothing to do if you're free.
Exactly. And Phil's just put in, looking forward to a great week of action. The only day we haven't got any racing on is tomorrow night. But I'm aware there is a series taking place tomorrow night as well. And I believe it might be another Toyota series. And what round are you on, Dan? Dan, has he done it again? He's not even realised he's muted again. Seriously?
Yes. I did not mute, I think.
Clearly you did.
Not that I know of.
Right, Dan, go. You got about 30 seconds to get this one done. Off you go.
Well, there we go. Carl Hardy will start this race in P1, Arnold Chardonnay in P2, Roger Morton P3, Anthony Jacobson P4, P5 for Michael Sue. Steve Heffert in P6, Jamie Ayres in P7, Daniel Hunt in P8, Pete Van Gool in P9, Pete New in P10, David Ayres in P11, Miles Owens in P12, 13 for Colin Sansom, Charles Kellyman in P14, Darryl Wright P15, Craig Deacon in P16, 17 Mick Barry, Andy Littler in P18, Greg Jones P19, P20 for Dale Benison, James Neve in P21, and 22nd for Jason Haddington.
Oh, Justin Carl Hardy is on pole. So, yeah, what round are you on in your GR86 league?
The second round.
And that's tomorrow night, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, wonder if I could slide in and get a cheeky position. Where is it?
Exactly the same track as you just mentioned, Ritzcogan.
Oh, okay. Right. Lights are on, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are away here again for race 2 at Donington. And it's Carl Hardy and Sean Yonye. Sean Yonye looks like he's got the jump right at the beginning. Michael Searle is also looking racy in 4th place now, currently at the moment. Sean Yonye is going to end up on the gravel. He's got to hit the brakes, try and get that car slowed down. And it's Carl Hardy leading us away here. Everybody making it through cleanly, nobody going off track, which is absolutely amazing this early on. And it's Anthony Jacobson, Sean Yonye battling backwards and forwards as well. The timing tower's not even sure which one is in first place. Jacobson squeezed onto the gravel, onto the grass, sorry, he's going again. Is he going to do the same to Michael Searle? Jamie Evans is looking racy as well, Dan. This has been an epic few corners.
Well, what a start from Sean Yonye. Of course, couldn't convert that into a lead. He's run a little bit too quick into turn 1. There's a little bit of a touch between Jacobson and Jamie Ayres, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he manages to keep it going, but loses a lot of positions in doing so. Miles Owens has now got past as well, so does David Ayres. So he's lost a lot of positions, dropped back, now down into P13. And that's not where he would have wanted to be after such a great start.
Yeah, Michael Searle got past Sean Yonye there. So that's Michael Searle up into 2nd place currently. So, I want it's Seal actually, isn't it? I'm going to presume it's Michael Seal in 2nd place. Sean Yonye 3rd, Ez in 4th. Oh, Sean Yonye's leaving the door open. Don't do that. You're just inviting it. Inviting to get robbed by Jamie Ayres on that run down through Hollywood now. Steve Everett in the mix. They're going to be looking at trying to take it in there as well. How is Sean Yonye going to handle this corner? He's got to tighten it up. Hepburne's looking at following Ayres through here. We've seen this over in the Momo guys before, haven't they? They do some great teamwork in the MX-5, and they seem to be looking at trying to work together here again as well. There's been a big pile-up. Dale Benison, Craig Jones, Darryl Wright, all involved there. We'll have a look back at that one very, very shortly, but it looks like there's been a good few cars. Carl Hardy's got off track. That's allowed Michael Seal into 1st place. Darryl Wright is in the pits. So whatever that was, whatever that happened to be there, was a big one, and it started about here. Oh, okay, I'm not surprised it started there. That Benison. Oh.
Out of nothing, Craig Jones goes round.
Oh, I hope David Ayres has got his checkbook. David Ayres is the manager of the results team. And it looked like all of them was involved in that one. Dale Benison, Craig Jones, Darryl Wright. So, yeah, you got your checkbook out. But back up front, Carl Hardy, Michael Sill having a battle now as well with JamesParfitt into the mix. Throw him into the pot and you're definitely going to get an interesting cake that's going to come out of them mixtures here tonight as well. But these three having an absolute epic battle here this evening in race 2. Oh.
I thought for a second there, James, that JamesParfitt was going to make it 3 wide down the crane of curves into the old hairpin. He did not, luckily, for all the drives, because 3 wide there, 2 wide is difficult enough. Let alone 3 wide, but yeah, for a second there I thought that JamesParfitt was going to try a 3 wide move down the crane of curves.
Yeah, it didn't this time around, but look at this battle here as well. Pete Newman, Arnold Chagnon, Michael Seal, Steve Hefford, Pete Van Gool, Miles Owens sitting there waiting like a prancing tiger, preying on the prey that lags behind, and that prey was Pete Van Gool. And then now it's all of these guys racing down here with Newman, Chagnon and Seal. Seal's trying to chase down Hefford. Chagnon is trying to get hold of Pete Newman. We got Craig Deakin, Darrell Wright into the pits currently at the moment. Oh, Daniel Hunt's gone round. Daniel Hunt has gone round as well. Oh, Settle, you got to bring that on right next to the cars, Mr. Hunt. And he does so nicely, but this up-front battle, these 5 cars, including Newman and Chagnon, I think aren't going to be too far apart. We know how quick Newman is. I'm sure he ain't going to be long until he's on the back of these drivers here in front. But Carl Hardy is leading the way for the safeguard by result. Guys, team here this evening with JamesParfitt behind him, Steve Hefford, Michael Sill, Pete Newman, Arnold Chagnon and Miles Owens. Miles Owens tucked up behind Chagnon with, for good health, your Netherlands counterpart, Daan, Pete Van Gool.
Pete Van Gool is going to try it up the inside of Miles Owens. Miles Owens got a little bit out of shape, of course, into the right hand, and because of that, Pete Van Gool saw his opportunity and took it with 2 hands and never let it go anymore, because he's passed Miles Owens. Now the man ahead of him is Arnold Chagnon, but he can hunt down. Of course, he had a great start, but ever since then, James really has been dropping down. So let's see where he's going to end up. Carl Hardy, though, he ended up in the lead, and he's still in it.
Ez has got a slow down. Ez looks like he's trying to get a slow down off. He got very slow out of that chicane. Steve Hefford did make it through this time around. And I'm wondering if Ez did have a slowdown. He's looking like he's keeping pace, so he might be clear of it at the moment. But again, it's always going to be a tough one when you have got a slowdown here to try and get it off and maintain position. Now, I normally drive for as long as I physically can, just a little bit slower, trying to take that time off, Dan. I'm not one of these guys that move over heavy brake out the way and lose a chunk of time. I like to take my time getting off. If I can make it 30 seconds down the road, because you generally have 30 seconds on a slowdown. If I can make it 30 seconds down the road, like into the chicane or anything, then I would look at taking it off into the chicane. I would just drive a lot slower.
What he's doing now.
Yeah. He looked like he had to hit the brakes though, didn't he? Steve Hefford, Carl Hardy's gone. Where have he gone? Oh, he's on the gravel.
Oh no.
Not good. Let's put Steve Hefford out in front and that man, Pete Newman, in second. We said he would be long before he caught up Dan, and he goes to take second place.
Well, Steve Hefford, after the operation, can he immediately on his comeback win a race? That was Miles Owens at the grass though, big step! Miles Owens is round, can he 360 spin it and carry on? Well, he's now showing off, isn't he?
Well, he managed to keep control of the car, which is a bit of a bargain, because it doesn't normally happen. You normally end up going around and facing in completely the opposite direction where you want that car to be. But he managed to get it all the way around and face it in the right way, which is always good. So let's see what Seal can do here over Pete Newman. Jamie Ayres behind that as well. Anthony Jacobson looks like he's in a little bit of a tidy battle. Just as he goes past Andy Littler! Big snap by Littler and around he goes. Oh man, that must have been tough.
Did he touch the grass on the outside? Because it looked like it all of a sudden was gone underneath of him.
Yeah, it just kicked back, did it? And there was just kind of nowhere to go there for Andy Littler. But let's see how these guys battling away get on up the front end. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars will be coming to battle. 7 minutes remaining, and currently they're being led by the return of Steve Hefford Oh, Seal's gone round. Is he gone round? He's put Jamie Ayres on the grass. That's Chandonier's made it through. And Pete Van Gool, they're running side by side currently at the moment as well. Van Gool now takes it away there. Jamie Ayres has got Roger Morton on the inside. Michael Seals making it through. Carl Hardy is in the battle at the same time. These 5 cars here. Oh, contact. Hardy and Seal, contact there. James Neve's thrown himself into the hat as well. Daniel Hunt is into the pits. You can see that at the bottom of your screen. Oh, there's some tasty battles again. Down, rising from Roger Morton all the way down to Michael Seal in 9th place.
Well, Pete Newman, of course, has now taken that lead. Pete Van Gool, though, I can still remember that slowdown he got. I think just 2 laps ago, already is up into P3. A lot more people seemingly having issues with the car here in race 2. I don't know if it's just the drivers more pushing the car to the limit just that little bit more than they did in race 1, or just too comfortable with the car. There was contact behind, I heard it. I don't exactly know who it was, but I definitely heard some contact. Let's hope that they didn't go around. There he is. There is Michael, and he's gone, I think, into the barrier.
Yeah, he did there, Michael Seal. Let's have a quick look. It's with Pete Newman going, oh, too much curb. That was earlier on. That was the first one we watched, wasn't it? He's gone again since then. There he is.
This is the one I heard.
Yeah. Oh, Hardy went round. Oh. Hardy had a big tank slap, but Michael Seal had nowhere to go at all there. And unfortunately for him, but you can see the weather on the right side. Track temperature's around about 20 degrees. You know, 27 degrees, sorry. So not overly hot for these specific cars, you know, fairly maintainable, I guess.
Oh, that is a big snap. Can he keep it going though, Jamie Ayres? What is going on here, James? A lot of people, or a lot of drivers, having issues with the car all of a sudden. And I don't think the conditions have changed anything from what they were in race 1.
This is Newman and Ayres. We missed this one going down into Redgate. Oh,
Hefford, I think.
Hefford, yeah, sorry. Hefford just got a big snap on. And unfortunately that allowed Pete Newman through. Steve Evans now lost a position to Pete Van Gool. 4 minutes remaining here. Car number 13th position. Michael Seals off again. Not being able to repeat his race 1 victory in the AM class. Unfortunately for him, it looked like he's having a bit of a rough one, but Pete Van Gool and Steve Hefford are fighting it away with 3.5 minutes here down remaining.
Well, Pete Van Gool, can he make that move to Pete Newman? We know he was quicker in race 1. Once again, we find those two at the front of the field. Steve Hefford, though, is not done with this fight yet. It's either team orders that Pete Van Gool has been in this championship now for 4 rounds, and Steve Hefford has just come back, of course, after the operation. But it might be the case that Steve Hefford has allowed Pete Van Gool through. Pete Van Gool does seem to be quicker than Steve Hefford, so maybe a sensible decision by Steve Hefford to do so. Stick in that slipstream, try and, well, stick with Pete Van Gool and try to get Pete Newman back if he can do so. 3 minutes and 60 seconds left in this race. That's about 3 or 4 laps. I expect 3 laps left in this race, and, well, there is a chance that Pete Van Gool can catch up, James, but it's looking unlikely with the pace that Pete Newman has.
Yeah, I think it is. It's 2.4 seconds. I don't think he's going to be able to drag that time down. Roger Morton here, leader of your AMS, has got James Neve. Of course, Mr. Neve was promoted to pros this week alongside Miles Owens. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on being up in the pros. Do you think it had extra pressure on James Neve, Miles Owens, Daan, being promoted?
Well, he said that. He feels like there's more pressure on him now to perform than it was when he was an AM. Of course, in the AM class, he himself knows that he was quite to the front of the AM field. Of course, after the first 2 races, he knew that. But, yeah, well, in hindsight, everything has stayed the same. It's just the class that has changed for him. And the only thing that could potentially have changed is the fact that the drivers that he has to fight now are usually there at the front of the overall field instead of maybe 4th, 5th position. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get wins in class for Miles Owens now. But it's definitely not impossible. We know he's quick, James. We know he has the pace to keep with Pete Newman and Pete van Gool. He did it at Kota last week in the last race. So it's definitely not impossible.
Yeah, Neve trying to go around Morton into turn 1. Morton there, the car looking a little bit unsturdy. Going into Red Gates, he's now coming round Hollywood, down through the crane of curves. The left-hander they've got on that run down into the old hairpin. Pete van Gool's on the grass. Spotted out at the top of the picture. Pete van Gool was on the grass, manages to hold on to that position away from Steve Hefford. Miles Owens chasing down Carl Hardy now. Roger Morton being chased down by James Neve. So there's a little couple of battles kicking off as we go. Probably it'll be the last lap this time around. And for these guys, it's Van Gool and Hefford, Morton and Neve, and Owens and Hardy. So that's going to be the battles that we're going to have to try and keep an eye on here for this final lap. Car 18 is sat. Oh no, the leader's coming. Leader's coming. Leader's...
He's just out of the way, luckily. This is the tricky point. He's now on the racing line, but I think he's got going again.
Yeah.
Although that car did look heavily damaged.
Yeah, Mick Barry there not doing too well. Jamie Ayres, Carl Hardy, Miles Owens, these three here up front of that, as you can see. So we go on to the last lap of the race is James Neve and also Roger Morton with Arnold Chandonnier waiting to see what happens with them guys. I wonder if Miles Owens is kind of doing the same thing here, because Jamie Ayres and Carl Hardy are both battling it away. They're established league racers, Dan, aren't they? You know, Miles is fresh in this season, and you know, is he sitting around waiting to see whether or not this is something's gonna come of this, should we say, with these guys?
Well, we've seen it quite a lot of the times here in race 2 that a lot of people have trouble with the car in certain corners, and that could well be the case if you're pushing just that little bit too much and you go over the edge, just as Carl Hardy is just done there, gone onto the grass. That's not a lot of time that he loses, but it is time that he loses, and that is all going to play to the hands of Miles Owens.
Yeah, here we go. Pete Newman is going to come across the line. He's going to take the checkered flag here for race 2 at Donington. PVG in second, Steve Hefford in third. Roger Morton, who is going to come across the line, leader of the AMS. Is he going to be able to stop James Neve on this run down into the line? Oh, he does. Morton manages to hang on with Chandonnier in second in the AMS. Jamie Ayres hangs on from Carl Hardy. Miles Owens there. David Ayres coming across the line in 10th. Charles Kellerman and Dale Benison there in 11th and 12th place respectively, with Anthony Jacobson behind Andy Littler, Craig Jones and Jason Huntington. Here is Mr. Jones. He's going up into Coppers. So still waiting for Andy Littler to come across the line as well. Mr. Littler going into the chicane.
I wonder if Craig Jones is going to blame the grass again.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Whatever is going to happen, he's going to blame something, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Well, I have to say, I feel for Craig Jones. He was quick in that MX-5, and he just cannot find his way, it seems like, with this GR86. And it's definitely a difficult car to drive in, but yeah, it's a difficult one.
Yeah, there you go, Dan. The results are up for you, sir. Off you go.
Well, in P1, we have Pete Newman ahead of Pete van Gool in second. Again, those two at the front of the field. This time, a little bit of a bigger gap between them. 2.5 seconds at the top. Steve Hefford in third after his operation, back on the podium. And, well, what a drive from him. Up 3 positions from his starting position. Then Roger Morton down 1 from where he started, but still the winner in the AM class ahead of James Neve and Arnold Chandonnier in P6. Jamie Ayres in P7, Carl Hardy in P8, Miles Owens in P9, David Ayres in P10. Charles Kellerman in P11, Dale Bennis in P12, Anthony Jacobson P13, Andy Littler in P14 ahead of Greg Jones. P16 is for Jason Haddington ahead of Colin Sansom. P18 for Mick Barry ahead of Greg Deakin. Michael Searle is in P20, Daniel Hunt in P21, and Darrell Wright rounds off the grid, the result in P22.
He does that. Right, guys. We are going to change over sessions now. We're going to jump on to the BRB screen. Me and Dan are going to grab 2 minutes to get a quick drink, and we'll be back after these short messages. Okay, guys, we are back live here tonight with myself and Dan Pepels here. Still bringing you the commentary as we jump into race 3. It's going to be an interesting one. Sit back and enjoy. We are just coming towards the end of practice. We've got about currently 2 minutes 20 on the clock. So sit back and enjoy this one because it's going to be absolutely amazing here tonight as well. Well, Dan, that was a more interesting race too, wasn't it? You know, from these guys here this evening.
Yeah, it was. And well, it was more what I expected in race 1 because it was quite chaotic at some point. And I don't know why, but the drivers seem to be struggling with the car more in race 2 than they did in race 1, which is usually the other way around.
Yes. What are we expecting from race 3 then?
More the same, I think. It's going to be an interesting one. Race 3, usually one of the better races because the drivers know the track better, they know the car better, they get comfortable racing each other. And as we know in race 4, it's always, great racing. So race 3 is, I think, building up to that, but I expect more like the same we saw in race 2.
Okay. Let's see how it goes here tonight for these guys once again at Donington Park for race 3. David will be broke by the end of the season. Yes. I think Phil, he will be if he's having to pay car repairs after 4 of their cars come together in the last race. So that was quite interesting for the work guard, safeguard team, well, by the results team really in general. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how that one pans out for the season there as well. You know, they try and not take each other out, but unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, well, we said it, never run 2 by 2 into that chicane. It's difficult to do, never good, because you're usually not going to get out there alive. And we saw it, I think, 3 times this evening, and 3 times the drivers ended up, well, at least with one of them off the track.
Yeah. Well, let's hope we don't end up with that one again as we're coming up now for the last few seconds. Barney there waving the checkered flag to signal the end of practice. So let's see how she gets on. We'll bring you up the grid ready to go for this race. As we can get it back. There you go, Dan. Off you go.
Well, Miles Owens will be starting this one from the front of the field. Cole Hardy in P2, Anthony Jacobson P3, and Aaron Chonnier in P4. Michael Seal? I still can't get that second name.
Quick.
Seal. And 6, James Neve. 7, Roger Morton. 8, Jamie Ayres. 9, Danny Hunt. 10, Pete Van Gool. Pete Newman in P11, and David Ayres in P12.
Right, here we go. The lights are 3, 4, 5. And it's Miles Owens leads us away here. Dan was slow on the grid reading, and unfortunately we didn't get it through, but it's Miles Owens out in front. Jacobson second, Hardy third, Chonnier fourth, James Neve in fifth, as these guys go running round turn 1 here. And I think if Miles Owens is in with a real shot here, Dan, if he can hold it up, there's been a shunt at the back. Daniel Hunt is into the pits already. Mick Barry is gone. Craig Deakin still running, I believe, at the back of the field. So is Barry only just, but it is Miles Owens leading us away here tonight with Dan Hunt in the pits already.
Well, Miles Owens, the gap already, 1.2 seconds. Cole Hardy now behind him. And what can he do? Of course, Chonnier dropped down that 1 position on Cole Hardy. And he's up 1 position from his starting spot. So is James Neve. James Neve now overtakes Chonnier, but we're looking at the battle for Morton and Newman. There we have him. That is Cole Hardy in P2. All has stayed the same at the front. It looks to be all clean, except, of course, Jacobson and Daniel Hunt.
Yeah, Jacobson went down the order. We just missed it there. It's gone sliding down the order. James Neve, Chonnier, Seal, all heading down into the chicane together currently at this moment, side by side. They can't run too wide. Can they make it through? Chonnier does. James Neve does. Michael Sill does. Jamie Ayres does as well, so does Roger Morton and Pete Newman. And this is turning in to quite an epic scrap with these 5 cars battling out on track. Are they going to go 3 wide? James Neavy's going to try 3 wide into Redgate. Ayres is in the middle. Seal's on the outside. There's contact. Contact with Seal. And now he's 3 wide with Pete Newman and Pete Van Gogh. Oh my God, let chaos commence.
Well, that was crazy, James. Now, it's going to be Michael who's going to try and make his way around the outside. Not quite able to do it on Pete Van Gogh. Now Pete Newman dives down the inside. Can he make that stick? He used, well, the fact that Michael was focusing on Pete Van Gogh ahead of him very well to try and dive down the inside. Couldn't quite make it work. Is now back behind him. So beautifully defended there by Michael Seal.
Yeah, only just made it that time around as well. So you can see the groups there, the pro and the AM leaders on the left-hand side of lap 2 here tonight, and I think it's going to be an interesting one because Chagnon is under attack from Seal as these guys are coming down into the chicane now. Neve on the left makes it through. Chagnon now has unfortunately got Jamie Ayres behind him, and that's never a good place for him.
No, usually not. Chagnon though leading, of course, the AM class. As you can see on the left-hand side, Morton behind him, 5/10 in that class. There we go, down the inside goes Chagnon. Couldn't quite do it without contact, and that's off the track. There goes Ayres indeed, off the track. There was contact between the two. I thought for a second that Ayres would be fine here, but it seems like that touch unsettled the car too much. Pete Van Gogh now trying to go around the outside of Roger Morton. Roger Morton, of course, second in the AM class. Chagnon, he sees him ahead of him. Maybe it's better for him to, well, just slot in behind Pete Van Gogh and Pete Newman and try and follow them through.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where that room is, Dan. I've got to be honest to do that because Newman's on the outside. Morton was on the inside. There was no room for them to go anywhere. You saw Seal checking up behind Morton, partly because he had nowhere to go. He could have pulled out and sent them 3 wide, but he chose not to. And now he's tucked up behind Roger Morton in your battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th place here. Carl Hardy has made gains on Miles Owens up front there. We can just see it at the top of the end of the screen. So we'll keep an eye on that one as it goes on, but Pete Van Gogh is under attack from Pete Newman currently. So let's see how that one pans out for these guys going down into turn 1. Hardy has brought the gap down to about 6 tenths. Neve with the fastest lap of the race, 1:18.2 so far at the moment. David Ayres, it looks like he's in the battle, so is Colin Sampson with Jamie Ayres. That's going to be an interesting one. Mick Barry and Anthony Jacobson are fighting out. Jacobson's just gone through there. But this battle here, if you accumulate the time, it equates to about 2 seconds from Chagnon all the way down to Dale Benison at the back end of this field. This could get really spicy, but so is the battle up front with Miles Owens and Carl Hardy down.
Yeah, this is unbelievably close. Miles Owens, of course, now leads for the first time, I think, as a pro driver. And Miles Owens, 2 tenths is the gap to Carl Hardy. Carl Hardy has been pretty quick. There goes Carl Hardy down the inside. And well, Cop has proved too difficult for Miles Owens to keep Carl Hardy behind. We know that Carl Hardy has the pace, and Miles Owens has been struggling a little bit on this track. He said that as well, and he admitted that this isn't one of his best tracks, and he was struggling with it. And you can definitely see that here. Hardy just has a little bit more pace, but maybe now Miles Owens can learn some lines from Carl Hardy. He's, of course, done that this whole evening, sticking the slipstream, maybe go down the inside again. Yeah,
he's going to be looking at a run down into Redgate, backs off early, which I'm surprised he did do because he's lost about 7 tenths doing that. As you can see, Jamie Ayres is in the pits at the bottom of your screen there. So Jamie Ayres is nestled into the pits, I think, and he's been lapped down there as well. That was Michael Seal going onto the gravel from the end of turn 1 as he's running round into Redgate. Chagnon is under attack from Newman with Pete Van Gogh behind him. Good evening, Puck. Hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining us. Morton is off. Morton's off. He's out. Oh, Chagnon went on the grass as well. Chaos commencing in race 3, PVG. And Newman having a battle. This is your battle for 4th and 5th, respectively. You see the gainers on the left-hand side there. Newman up 7. Pete Van Gool trying to squeeze up the inside. He's bullied Newman onto that outside line, Dan. At the moment, as they're going to get this run down into the chicane, Sean Yonye has got a barnstorming run. Is he going to send it free wide going down? He's decided he is. He's decided he is. Here we go, Dan. Free wide into the chicane. Sean Yonye's got to slow down. He must have done. He cut chunks of that chicane. Absolute chunks of it. Oh.
Wow. They made it 3 wide through chicane. I said earlier on, you can't even go through this side by side. Just 2 wide. And well, they somehow made it work, of course, with a lot of respect from all 3 drivers. But I, just like you, James, don't get why Sean didn't get a slowdown, because, well, he got loads of that inside of that chicane. And, well, luckily for him, he got away with it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he did or if he's trying to go slower, because he has dropped back. I think he would have had to take it off by now, Dan. Even I'm a realist on where that was, and he would have had to drop that by now. Owens has got past Hardy. Owens is, that's why. Oh no, Carl Hardy's been off. Was this a touch from Miles Owens?
I don't think so. That's the graph. Oh, Miles Owens lucky to avoid that.
Yeah, that was Hardy all on his own. Unfortunately, that's good release. Miles Owens now has got 1.8 seconds to Neve. Hardy's in the pits. Newman, Van Gool, Sean Yonye, and behind that we've got Michael Seal battling it away with Colin Sansom. Behind that one we've got Darrell Wright, Dal Bedison. Again, you can see the times on the left-hand side. Most drivers are close. Even Craig Jones is in this mix as well. He's up 10 positions, mind you. David Ayres is battling away with Charles Kellerman here, Dan. It's an interesting one so far here tonight.
Well, David Ayres, what can he do? He's definitely close enough to Kellerman to try and go for a move, maybe down into the old hairpin. Not quite able to do so. Looked like he was just that little bit too far back. And well, David Ayres is up 5 positions from where he started. Has Craig Jones behind him. Like you just said, up 10 positions in 8th. So not doing too bad at all here.
Yeah, definitely not. He's having an absolute flyer of a race free. Up 10 positions is Craig Jones trying to chase down the back end of David Ayres. Stanson and Seal are still battling it away further behind that. So is, Sanson on his own. No contact there, unfortunately. So Sanson has gone round. Ooh.
Neve is also closing here, James, on Miles Owens at the front. That gap down to 7 tenths. That gap was once 1.8 seconds. Look at that. How much Neve takes out of Owens on their braking. And, well, a quickest lap last time around, a 1:17.974 for Pete Newman. So that gap is also closing. About 4 to 5 laps to go here. And this could still go rather south for Miles Owens if he isn't careful here. If he fights too much with Neve, if he knows he doesn't have the pace, he could also be overtaken by both Newman and Van Gool.
Yeah, well, I think he's doing a stellar job. He's got 4.5 seconds, Dan. You know what I mean? That's a lot for them to try and make up, you know? And I think that's...
It is.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think, you know, from that point of view, you've got to give him a shot, right? He's got 4.5 seconds. He has got half a second over Neve. It's possible. It's possible.
Definitely. He has the best cars out of anyone at the moment because he's leading. I'm just saying that the fact that if he starts fighting with Neve too hard, it could be that, well, Pete Van Gool and Newman start gaining if Pete Van Gool is, of course, not going to attack Pete Newman.
What's the chances of the PVG not attacking Newman?
Well, I don't think that's ever going to happen, but there we go. Pete Van Gool up the inside of Pete Newman. He's going to make a ticket to red gate. There he puts his nose in. Pete Newman has to leave him the room and does so. Now the run down the crane curves into the old hairpin. James, who's going to get this one?
I don't know. Pete Van Gool's got the inside for the old hairpin. Newman's going to look at cut back and trying to get that better run up the hill. So it's going to be interesting to see he's got to allow Van Gaal to come out and try and take some of the racetrack. But at the same time, from their point of view, they're nose to tail here. Kellerman's also nose to tail with David Ayres. Miles Owens has got about half a second currently up front. But Darrell Wright and Dale Bennison are running side by side up the hill as well. So there's a lot going on. 10th place is Darrell Wright. Oh, he gets a little bit bent out of shape. PVG's on the grass. PVG's on the grass. Miles Owens, James Neves side by side. Going into the chicane. Oh,
there was a charge.
There was, but I don't know if both men would have struggled on that one.
Yeah, both of them compromised into that chicane. And look at that. Through that chicane, they lost about 1.6 seconds to Pete Newman. That's just how much time you lose if you start fighting through there. 3.2 seconds the gap now. I don't think Pete Newman can catch up that much, but Miles Owens now behind James Neve. And, well, it was a move where he had to be brave. He had to stick it in there, and he had to be decisive with it. He definitely did do so, and that paid off now. He's in the lead.
It definitely is. James Neede out in front. Charles Kellerman, David Ayres, Arnaud Chagnon having an interesting battle here as well. PVG has lost time to Pete Newman, but it's all about that battle up front, and then this battle here for 6th, 7th and 8th. Ayres has dropped back, so it's all about Chagnon and Charles Kellerman. Normally I write down who's going to win, but I'm not entirely sure who's going to win this one, Dan. I've got to be honest.
Well, with the slipstream, everything could happen. 2.3 seconds. Newman is gaining quick, though, on both of them. Pete Van Gaal, of course, has dropped back because he had that off-track moment. But he went onto the grass. That lost him a lot of time. Kellerman, though, can he make the move now into the chicane? Maybe pulls out of the slipstream. Doesn't want to gain too much, maybe. Wants to get a good run out of the chicane to try and attack Chagnon on the exit. Maybe to Redgate. Doesn't get too much of a better exit than Chagnon does. And I don't think he will be close enough to try and move it to Redgate. Here's the battle at the front of the field, though. James Neve, about a half a second of a gap to Miles Owens. Miles Owens, I have to say, when he has been behind someone, has been, well, rather quick here.
Yeah, well, we've got about 1:18 left on the clock. We're on a 15-minute countdown here tonight as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what Neve can do, whether or not he can hold Owens back. Kellerman, however, cannot find a way past Chagnon at all. I think is the easiest term on that one. He just cannot find a way through. Currently, at the moment, we've got Haddington, Hardy, Morton, Ayres, and Hunt. Hunt is out. The others are sat in the pits currently at the moment. Oh, Craig Jones, Craig Jones, Craig Jones. How bad was this accident? That's with David Ayres in front, I believe. Oh, Craig. All on his own. He's going to be kicking himself, I think, from that one. It's going to be the final lap, Dan. Final lap.
He was having such a good race, was Craig Jones. James Neither, the gap has come down to just 1.5 tenths of a second. Miles Owens got to move to the outside, fake it to the outside, to the inside he goes. He's going to brake late, but not as late as James Neve does. James Neve also gets a perfect run out of that corner. And with that, Miles Owens compromised his own line, tried to go for it. Of course, you have to try something, but he couldn't quite brake late enough.
Well, one man that looked like he did kind of brake himself. Pete Van Gaal, curbs, wall, spin. Can he hold it? Oh.
He can.
Not entirely sure then why he all of a sudden jumps back into the pits here. Keep an eye on Pete Van Gaal. Oh. Okay, Pete, give me a clue. Why did you jump to the pits?
Did he go off at the bottom of the hill at the old hairpin?
No, but he's racking up the off tracks, I'm not going to lie. Nothing doing. I've got a funny feeling the leaders, though, are going to be coming across the line. It's going to be Neve and Owens for the run. James Neve gets it from Miles Owens. That was a close one now. Not quite sure what happened to Pete Van Gaal. Arnaud Chagnon is going to wrap up 4th place and leader of the ARMS. So, well, fair play to Chagnon there from the RWC racing team. But it's Neve for the pros, followed by Owens, followed by Newman. And then
Well,
we've got
how close? So, I'm sorry?
No, sorry, carry on.
Well, how close do you want to get to a first victory as a pro? And how close do you want to get to losing your first victory as a pro? James Neave taking his first victory here, ladies and gentlemen, as a pro. And Miles Owens, the other one who was promoted, in second, just a little bit less than a tenth behind that, showing, James, I think what I said in the beginning, both of them are capable of winning races overall. And they've shown that here, and they've shown why they are promoted.
Yeah, Craig Jones coming across the line. There we go.
Not happy. Not a happy Craig Jones.
No, he's not happy at all, I don't think, there. Craig Jones putting it into the wall, Dan. But there is the grid for you, Dan. The results, sorry, off you go.
Well, James Neave, his first victory, I just said it, as a pro, ahead of Miles Owens, who gets his first podium as a pro and was so close to taking his first victory. Pete Newman in third, Alan Chanonier in P4. Of course, he's winner of the AM class. Charles Kellerman in fifth, ahead of David Ayres, seventh for Michael Sale. Darrell Wright in P8, ninth for Colin Sanson. Dale Bennison in P10, Greg Deakin in P11, Anthony Jacobson in P12, Andy Littler P13, P14 for Mick Barry. 15th for Greg Jones. We saw him smashing that car into the wall in the end. Not happy with that result. He was having such a good race. And then had that spin all on his lonesome behind. Who was that again, James?
David Ayres.
Well, behind David Ayres, pushing just a little bit too much. Pete Van Gool, however, in P16, he jumped back to the pits. We still don't know why. I don't know if you can get a replay of that. Jason Haddington in P17, Carl Hardy in P18, Roger Morton in P19, Jamie Ayres in P20, and Daniel Hunt in P21.
Yeah, there we go. I can try and find out. This is where he just miraculously jumps back. Oh, he goes in.
Okay. Well, that's a weird one.
I'm wondering if he underfueled that car. Wondering if he underfueled that car. Right, guys. We are going to be back again where we change into the next session. So we will see you all very, very shortly. Okay, guys, we are back here tonight from Donington Park with myself and Dan Pepels still in the booth as we head into the last race, race 4. And I think, Dan, the only word I can really use is it's been an interesting evening of racing, hasn't it? Because race 1, I said to you, did I? Race 1 has been a little bit timid. It's been a little bit more conservative than expected. And then it kind of went crazy in 2 and 3. And if that's anything to go by, I'm expecting chaos in race 4.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier on, we're going to sound like a broken record, but this is usually the race where it all kicks off.
Yeah.
This is usually the race where the drivers think, okay, it's my last chance for glory. They're going to give it everything, as they always do, but just that 1% more. And this is usually where the bigger incidents happen. Let's hope that they can stay out of any big incidents this evening. But as always, this is the one where we're expecting the big ones.
Yeah, Craig Jones has been in chat. P1, I can feel it in me. PVG then said, "You got this, Craig," and then Craig went, "I didn't mean P1 to leave the paddock at the end and go home." I don't think Craig's feeling very confident going into race 4.
Well, he has shown pace. It's just the fact that sometimes he
can't control the car.
The car is, yeah.
Oh dear, Craig. Well, what can you say about this man's sense of humour? It's kind of a bit wicked on himself as well. So, you know, it's an interesting one, I think, for that one here tonight. Right, guys, as well, don't forget on the 28th of January, JPB are running a charity event in aid of the Rainbow Trust. We've got a 3-hour endurance with the MX-5 TCRs and GT3s. Now, I have noticed the Discord link is not down in the description. I will edit that as we speak. So look out for the Discord link to appear. If you want to get involved in the 3-hour endurance race as well, you can click on the Discord and get yourself involved in that one. So the link will go in very, very shortly. Get yourself involved. Come and join us for 3 hours in aid of charity. £10 entry, team of 2 drivers, and the event is called Big Dreams, Little Voices. So look out for that one here tonight. All right, let's try and bring the grid up for Dan this time really, really quickly. Dan, off you go.
There we go. Pete Van Gool will start this race in P1 ahead of Craig Jones, Mick Barry P3 and the Littler P4. Anthony Jacobson P5, Greg Deacon P6, Dale Bennison P7, Colin Sanson P8, Darrell Wright P9, Michael Sill in P10, David Ayres in P11, Charles Kellyman in P12.
Okay, up there, go.
P13 for Arnold Chardonnay, Pete Newman in P14, Miles Owens P15, 16, James Neves, Jason Hines in P17, Cahardy P18, Roger Moser P19, Jamie Ayres in P20.
Yeah, there we go. The race is underway. PVG has got away. Craig Jones is in second place here tonight. And again, we've got 15 minutes remaining. There is cars strewn across the track here at Donington Park. And at the moment, it's everybody. Is everyone going to get away cleanly? Everybody looks like they have. Even Hannington at the back of the field. No! Andy Littler unfortunately goes round there as well, but everybody heads down now through the S's. That is PVG out in front with Craig Jones in second, Jacobson in third, as these guys go racing around the old hairpin for the first time this evening, Dan.
Well, there we go. That's they're 3 wide now. Newman on the outside, Seal in the middle, and Bennison on the inside. Miles Owens trying to pick his way around this as well. He can't quite because the road ahead of him is blocked. There he goes down the inside of Dale Bennison. Can he make it stick? It's going to be difficult on this run down to Copes because it's a difficult corner on your own already. He's going to try and get his nose in there, but backs out of it and decides it's better to try and wait until the run down to turn 9 and 10. Here we go. Is he going to try and put it up the inside of the chicane?
Barry's got to slow down. Jacobson's got to slow down. Deakin's attacking Jones in the chicane. That's, well, just worked, I guess. From Craig Jones' point of view, though, it looks like he has got to slow down for that one as well. And at the moment, it's PVG out in front, currently flying along quite nicely here tonight, Dan. And it's back PVG leading the way.
Well, Pete Van Gool, I think, has got what he was looking for this whole evening. He was, let's be honest here, James, he was quick. He was, I think, one of the quickest drivers, if not the quickest. This evening, there's a contact, though, between Littler and McBarry. And there we go. That was almost Littler around, I think. Greg Jones also going off, I think. Greg Jones is off the track. Does he keep it out of the wall, though? He does. He drops down quite a lot of positions, but Newman off as well. Can he keep it out of oncoming cars?
Oh, Jones is off again. Craig Jones, he needs to get it on the tarmac. No, he's gone round. Miles Owens is trying to bump off and slow down really, really quickly there. Dale Benson, I'm not even sure what's going on anymore, Dan. This has just got chaotic in race 4.
Too much happening.
Yeah, it's going up beside Jamie Ayres now into the chicane as well. Is Carl Hardy going to send it? He is. There's going to be a slight little bit of contact and everybody makes it through. So, and it looks like Santham has got to slow down.
Well, he's going very slowly.
Yeah, yeah, he's got to slow down. He did cop a slow down, I've got to be honest, as he's now running even slower. Dale Benison and Charles Kellerman here tonight. With James Neve, these three having a battle. PVG is out in front by 6.5 seconds.
Well, I don't think anyone is going to get close to that anymore, James.
No, Benison moves over. That's Neve through as well. Craig Deakin, Michael Seal up front currently at the moment. I love the message in chat by Phil. Less incidences in Redgate than in real life. But there is currently at the moment, but these guys have had incidents all over the track, unfortunately. It looked like Seal's got to slow down because he's lost place to Craig Deakin. Can he hang on from Anthony Jacobson? He can. Kellerman can hang on from Neve. Newman and Benison still hanging on to each other there. David Ayres is trying to catch up to Carl Hardy. So,
Miles Jones in the background. Wow. I don't know if we can get a replay of that, but he caught it like 5 times. It snapped underneath him. There we go, just ahead of us. Wow. Proper drifting from Miles Owens. Did well once again to keep that car going in a straight line.
Yeah, well, Dale Benison is doing a stellar job here. Up through Starkey's and into McLean's, trying to keep Pete Newman back, but I think he's left the door wide open now. Newman's going to have that side line. Into McLean's he goes, and Newman has got the job done and position. Colin Sanson is looking coming back through as well from the year 1 team here tonight. So, well, James, absolute stellar job so far from them.
Well, James, just to give you a little bit of context, last lap for Pete Van Gool, a 117.66. Last lap for Greg Deakin, a 119.69. 2 seconds quicker it was Pete Van Gool last time round. In the background, Jacobson was off the track as well while I was saying that. And Jacobson losing a lot of positions with that. Did he keep it out of the wall? The car doesn't look too damaged. At the front of the field, though, Seal now defending from Greg Deakin.
No, he's just overtaken him, Dan.
Okay, that's my fault then. He's overtaken him. Great move then, in that case.
Yeah, he got him down into turn 1 in Redgate. So it's now going to leave him into James Neve, Colin Sampson, Dale Benison. These guys nose to tail. There's battles further back with Miles Owens and Roger Morton. Benison getting that car sideways. Miles Owens now has got Morton's got the inside line. There's like a little bit of jinking and braking, jinking and braking, jinking and braking. Nobody's really sure how this one's going to pan out. Oh,
contact!
Morton hangs on. Miles Owens, well, he's giving it everything, let's just say. But Craig Deakin is now in the hands of James Neve. It's now all on Neve to see what he can do. There's PVG up front, running away with it all on his own currently at the moment. And Neve has now got to get past Deakin, I think, to really progress, as he's got 8:24 on the clock left here tonight down from Donington Park.
Well, 8 minutes left here at Donington Park, and what a day it has been here at Donington Park. Craig Deakin doesn't have the greatest chicane there. Pete Newman now going to try and capitalize on that as well. Going to try and go around the outside of Redgate. Can he carry it around the outside? He can. Does he have the speed to complete that move? Down the crane and curves, not quite at the moment. He's going to have to try and outbrake him maybe into the old hairpin. The car from Craig Deakin does look damaged on the left-hand side, and he does allow now Pete Newman through. Pete Newman can now try and attack Charles Kellerman ahead of him to try and get up to the podium of the pros at least.
Yeah, we'll see how this one pans out with Sampson and Benison. David Ayres, Carl Hardy, and Jamie Ayres. Ayres' car does not look comfortable there. Either that, or I'm looking at it wrong. Maybe it looks like he has got damage. Sanson can stay on front. We can have a look back from Dale Benison's gearbox. No, he has got a slight lift, doesn't he, on that front bonnet?
Yeah.
But how much
not looking
effect?
too healthy.
No. Oh, Hardy Sanson. No, Ayres' car has been involved in the wars. It looked like Hardy did get that job done over Sanson behind us. He did. David Ayres is now looking at trying to get that run on Sanson as well. 6:45 on the clock. And poor old Colin Sanson is getting munched up like anybody's business here tonight. Unfortunately, he's dropping positions as the evening goes on. Seal has now got James Neve climbing all over the back of him. Miles Owens has cleared Roger Morton. As I say that, it looks like Morton's trying to come back on the inside line. Not quite sure how Owens is going to go about this one, Dan. He's got to try. The thing is, this is where, for Miles Owens, where he was benefiting in the AMS, because Morton's quick. We saw that in the first race of the year. And now he's got Owens battling away with him. And these two guys were always close together. So that jump to pros kind of makes you wonder why Morton didn't jump up there with him as well.
Well, I'm completely with you there. Maybe because Morton has been an AM for longer, also through the MX5 championships that, of course, UkSimracers have hosted as well. Maybe that is one of the reasons. But yeah, that's definitely, if you look at it like that, a weird one.
Dale Benison is under the cosh here with Jamie Ayres, Carl Hardy, Colin Sanson. Ayres is still making moves even with that damaged car. Sanson, oh, I thought Sanson was coming from a long way back there. Ayres looks like he's going to tuck up the inside and get this job done on this run down. Hardy's going to try and follow him through over Benison. Sanson's sitting back wondering what is going to happen, I think. I wouldn't want to be sticking my nose in this one. Unlike me, though, Sanson is a little bit braver.
He's now boxed in, though.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be wanting to do that. David Ayres has had to hit the brakes on a straight because he couldn't go. There's nowhere to go. Look.
Road is blocked. Oh, and now it's blocked even more.
Oh, Benison went as well. Well, from Jacobson's position, that worked out really well. From Seal's position, with James Neve tucked up right behind him at the moment.
Not as great.
No, you kind of wanted, you want to get away from a driver like Neve, but obviously from Seal's position, he's obviously in the front and of the AM class anyway, and he's got, you know, Neve, Newman, Kellerman until they get to Craig Deakin. So I guess overall he's got enough room here to go at it. Barry is in the pits, and well, this is why.
She's down into the old hairpin.
Yeah, it's what he's going to do after that. Oh, I think he's just called it a
parks
day.
it.
Yeah, I think he called it a day on that one. Mick Barry, Michael Seal, James Neve still going at it currently at the moment.
I have to say, James, Neve up 13 positions. The only one who can match that is, at the moment, Jamie Ayres in P7. But James Neave, what a drive. Of course, 13 positions down. That means he started 16th on the grid. And he's finding himself in P3 overall now. I think that Pete van Gool's a little bit too far ahead to catch. That gap is 13 seconds for James Neave. But, well, what a drive it would be to go up 14 positions and finish in P2, or go up 30 positions and finish in P3.
Yeah, I think I'd be happy with both, to be honest. Jacobson, Ayres and Chagnon are close together here, these three guys. Don't forget, Ayres and Jacobson are teammates, both coming out by the Spyro by Results guys. So the Results Clothing, part of the Results Clothing brand. Obviously we've got Safeguard by Results, Spyro by Result, and WorkGuard by Result as well, and the Results Clothing iRacing team all together. So there's quite a few teams in here tonight. Ralph Cullen is not here tonight.
No, he's not.
No. Wonder what that is. Maybe we'll have a message to Ralph and find out where he is, or have a chat with Craig at some point.
I think he probably had more. I can't find more important things, or a lot more important things. But he's probably had something more important to do than racing today.
Chagnon is trying to go up the inside of McLean's. He's got this run up into Coppice. He's got to send it in a little bit deeper to try and clear Jacobson off the line. We know there's a slowdown in that corner, and it's not very hard to get at the moment. Jacobson and Chagnon. Looks like Chagnon may have got this one done on this run down. Starkey's now down into the chicane they go. Jacobson on the left, Chagnon on the right. Battle for the AMs. Oh, Jacobson went in too deep, didn't he, Dan? He couldn't carry that momentum through. Yeah. You know, Deakin is settled now with Jamie Ayres behind him. Newman has overtaken Seal. James Neave passed Seal as well, so I wonder if Seal went off track. He lost 2 places.
Here we go, we're going to see it. Oh no, he had a slow down.
Slow down in the chicane. That's what happened to Michael Seal. Here tonight, PBG is going to be looking at coming through the chicane, getting the final lap underway. Car number 12 positions off, that's Craig Deakin. He's off the track. James Neave, Pete Newman, Michael Seal here as well. PVG starting the last lap of the race, there we go.
Well, James, this has been, like we expected, quite a chaotic one. We're not done yet, look at this. This is a battle for P2. 3 cars involved in it, of course, as we know. Neave and Seal have been involved in this for quite a long time. But Pete Newman is new into this now. Pete Newman pulls to the outside of Neave. Can he make a move around the outside stick? He has the speed to make it stick. Can Neave do anything about it, or does he have to give Pete Newman that position? Yes, he does.
Gave it to him. He probably could have pushed that a little bit harder, I would have thought, and run. He had that inside line. But what is Neave going to be able to do now? Last lap of the race, PVG is out in front, and he's out front by nearly 15 seconds. See how this one pans out for these guys, but I think it's going to be Seal making that move, isn't it? If it's going to be anyone, I think it's going to be Michael Seal on James Neave as these guys go running up into Coppice now, keeping an eye on PVG so far ahead. This battle's not even going to hit that back straight, I think, before PVG just about comes around and takes the checkered flag. Pete van Gool wins race 4. Newman, Neave and Seal.
It's going to stay the same, I think, as long as nothing happened.
I think so there as well. Seal's going to take the overall AM victory though, so well done, good job from him. Charles Kellerman comes across the line. James Hardy and Jamie Ayres and Carl Hardy. Chagnon and David Ayres. Ayres is going to take second in the AMs. Great driving from him this evening. Chagnon is going to get 3rd place there. So good job from them guys. Further down, Dale Bennison, Roger Morton, Darrell Wright. Oh, Morton's gone round on the last corner. Here comes Littler. Is Littler good? Oh!
Oh!
Well, here comes Jones, because Jones make it past Roger Morton safely. Morton's got no car, nothing. I think it's smoke coming out. Is Jones going to give him a push? No. He may do this time. There we go.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he did. Bye, Mr. Morton.
Now his car is properly wrecked.
Yeah, absolutely. Roger Morton. Oh, just for good enough, Craig gets somebody else as well at the same time. So, yeah. The safeguard boys there really deciding that they want to get involved with each other. There you go, Dan. There are the results for the final time this evening.
As we see Roger Morton in the background, well, with a severely damaged car, we look at the standings and it says Pete Van Gool winner by 14 seconds, even more than that, 14.3 seconds. What a drive from the Dutchman. He was quick this whole evening and he finally got that win that he wanted. Pete Newman in P2, also very quick this evening. Those two have been trading first and second position. Only once where not one of those two was a winner, and that man is now in third. James Neve won race 3, is now in third in race 4. Michael Sale in P4. P5 for Charles Kenneman. P6 for Jamie Ayres. Carl Hardy in P7. David Ayres in P8. Arnold Chanonnier in P9. Miles Owens in P10. Anthony Jacobson P11. P12 for Colin Sansom. Then in P13, we find ourselves Greg Deakin, Dale Bennison in P14, P15 for Darrell Wright, 16th Andy Littler, Roger Morton in P17, 20, from 17th to 20th, something's not right. 18th we have before that is Greg Jones, Mick Barry in P19 and P20 for Jason Haddington.
Well, there we go, guys. For the, that was the results there. We got PVG waiting in the booth. Let's bring in Mr. Pete Van Gool, the man who just dominated race 4 all the way this evening. He started on pole. He's won it all the way through the race from the green to the checkers. Welcome in, Mr. Pete Van Gool.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and Happy New Year to all of you guys.
Happy New Year to you, sir. I hope you had a good one. How's your evening been, Pete?
It's been epic. The racing's been really, really good, and I loved it, to be honest. I trashed my own car on race 3 on the curb. My wheel fell off. My front left wheel just fell off, jumping the curb, and then I just retired.
We did see that. You pulled into the pits. 3 podiums tonight, though. It's not bad. You know, a second, 2 seconds and a win.
Yeah, it's good. Well, the fourth one was like I just went off the line, and then I was just getting in the zone, doing lap after lap after lap. That was really it was fun, but I think it was more fun at the back racing other people.
Yeah, but you've got to know the fact that you got it banked in the bag here, mate. 14 seconds down the road in race 4. You know, you can take it a little bit easier because we know how bad this car can turn around and miraculously kill you from nowhere.
Yeah, it can. It is a handful at times, especially when you overdrive it. But it just yeah, it's starting to grow on me, and it's showing, so that's good.
Yeah, you're doing a stellar job, mate, and I think I'm really excited and looking forward to the next race here as well. You know, how are you getting on with the car? People aren't loving it. People are loving it. What's your opinion of it?
Well, you need to not drive it like an MX-5, because then it's going to kill you. And it's more like a TCR car. And well, on this track, you need to nail the curbs, or else they're going to kill you. And you need to keep the the momentum up, and feel when it's sliding underneath you. But yeah, I think I got to grips with it, and looking forward to next week. Although I don't really know which track we're on.
With Lime Rock.
Lime Rock. Oh, that's going to be good racing. good sliding as well. People sliding off track.
Definitely there as well.
To the point of no return.
Yeah, if anything, this is to go by. I think it's going to be absolutely epic. But look, Pete, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on your win and your 2 podiums this evening as well. Anyone you want to give a big shout out to before you leave the booth tonight?
Oh, yeah. My brother Puck as well, because he's watching again. And
he is?
Some of my family members are probably watching. So hello to you guys. Thank you for watching. and you guys as well for the stream again this new year. And looking forward to see you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be absolutely epic. Thank you very much, Pete, for joining us there. And I'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Right, we do have Craig Jones in the booth, Dan. Let's have a quick chat with Mr. Jones here. The man who complained about grass at a racetrack is joined us in the booth. Good evening, Craig. How are you, sir?
To be fair, it is a stupid place to put it, though, isn't it? Like, when you got cars racing around, why would you put grass next to it? It's stupid. Don't get it.
Well, it's better than a wall, mate. We could send you to Bathurst.
Yeah, we have that joy coming up, don't we? Yeah, I think I'm washing my hair that night.
Yeah, Bathurst in 2 weeks, mate. You got Lime Rock at the moment next week.
Yeah, I like that track almost as much as I like this car.
All right. Tell us then, how is it going with the car, Craig? I feel we need to clear this up on air and get it done once and for all so we don't hear about it for the rest of the season. How are you getting on with this car?
Well, I feel that I'm brilliant. I think it's the car that's the issue. I don't know. I don't know what else I can say other than that. I've looked at some data. I've ran some telemetry. I've checked out. I'm excellent. I'm perfect. But the car is just not right.
Yeah, we're just watching one of your excursions onto the grass here in race 4, running up the outside of the old hairpin. You know, I don't really know what to say, Craig. It's been quite a mixed bag of racing for you tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't obviously watched the stream back, but I did catch a small snippet of you and Dan, not, let's say taking the mick, like a couple of funny, I don't know, like Ant and Deck, you two. I did catch that. I'm not sure which one's Ant and which one's Deck, but I did catch that, and I thought, that wasn't, you're meant to be not meant to show any bias or anything like that. You're meant to be there supporting me and so come on, Craig, you can do better than that. But no, you're just like, oh, Craig can't control the car.
Well, we're just watching you spin, Craig. It's a bit hard to say anything other than what we see. And if we see you on the grass, then we see you spinning it, then we see you in the gravel doing donuts. What are we supposed to say?
That's some fantastic spinning.
You're spinning around more times than Kylie Minogue, mate. You know what I mean? I don't really know what to say.
I'm not angry about it. I'm just disappointed. I just expect you to be a little bit more supportive. That's all.
Give over, you Charlie. We're here to call the action, and if we see Craig Jones doing spins and building sandcastles in the gravel, mate, unfortunately, you're going to get it. So, you know what I mean? As much as I love you, Craig, of course, nothing but love there, bro. But unfortunately, we've just seen you on the replay go round twice in race 4. I'm not quite sure how we can call that any different. But Craig, look, it's always been a pleasure and great talking to you. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, because I believe you're missing an Irish teammate?
Yeah, I don't know where he is. I hope he's still alive. But I might text it. I might text him in a few days to find out if that's true or not. But hello, Ralph, if you're watching. My teammates, I'll say hello to them. And a thank you for your commentary as always. You and Dan always put on a good show, even though you're not very supportive of my spinning. But thank you anyway.
Well, mate, the way I look at it, we're in the UkSimracers GR86 Winter Series League. We are not on Strictly Come Dancing. So, I don't really know.
I've got the legs for Strictly, though. So that might be you might be onto something there. I might give Strictly a go next year.
Oh, well, only onwards and upwards from your GR86 season, I suppose, Craig. You know what I mean?
Well, it can't get any worse, can it? So, might as well give it a go.
Yeah, why not, mate? But much love, buddy, and I look forward to chatting to you next week.
See you later.
Oh, I don't know what to say about Craig Jones and his interviews, Dan. They don't seem to be any more Well, they just seem to be very blunt and straight to the point. He clearly is not loving the commentary about him spinning around.
They get better every time.
Yeah, well, that's one way of looking at it, I think. From that point of view there, if anybody hasn't heard of Craig Jones's interviews, please go and watch them back. They are quite amusing at times as well. Dan, final sentence on tonight's racing.
A difficult one. A chaotic one and a difficult one for the drivers.
Yeah, I agree. But there you go, guys. That is it. Wrapping it out from us this evening. Now, you did see the schedule a couple of times. I will bring that up for you. We are at Lime Rock next week before we head into Mount Panorama. Then we're going on to the Red Bull Ring. Snetterton at round 8. Round 9 is Summit Point Raceway, Suzuka International, and Watkins Glen round out there for round 9, 10, and 11. And then we round out the season on the 28th of February at Sebring International Circuit. So stay tuned for that one, guys, because it's going to be absolutely amazing. But all that's left for me to say as well now, guys, as we wrap up this evening, from myself and Dan Pepels, you all take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.